And that there is the snowy, slushy mush mess that I had to deal with yesterday morning coming down to Sonora Pass. I know it doesn't look like much, but a lot of those patches of snow are very steep, very slippery, and a lot are above decent rocks or drop-offs or cliffs. Or it was a nightmare getting down from that peak. I went down just the saddle just here, getting from there down to the road down here. When the trail went sort of like that all the way down, I ended up cutting around and then down this gully here, just abandoning the trail and finding what I decided was the safest way down, and it worked, but geez, that was a nightmare.
Alright, it is just past midday. I'm going to forewarn you that this particular video is going to be a little wordy. If you don't like how much I talk, duff, watch a different video. This is a personal video diary, pretty much for me, that I just share out there with friends and family, anyone who wants to watch. So, if it's not your thing, that's cool. But I've just left Sonora Pass, and goddamn, more snow. This is hopefully going to end real soon because it's kind of sketchy crossing this melted snow. I did wait until I had done the regular obligatory 1,000+ foot climb that I always have out of a resupply, but so at least now I can film this on the downhill, and I'm hoping there's not too much snow on this downhill. But I wanted to talk about just the friendliest people I've met in the last 24 hours. Unbelievable. So it started yesterday when I got down that nightmare of a hill to Sonora Pass, and there was a guy and his daughter there dropping off 4 hikers, and he was heading back down the road where I wanted to go, and he gave me a lift. And that was Bob and his daughter Rachel and their dog Lucy. And so on the way I was chatting to them, and went down to Kennedy Meadows North, and it was full. There was no rooms or no beds, no anything available. So there was some camping, but I had my heart set on a bed, especially after that descent. And so Bob said, hey, there's plenty of rooms down where we're staying, why don't you come and stay in the same place we are? We'll drive you down there, it's only 5 miles down the road. And I did, it sounded good. And I got there, got myself a room. It was a little on the expensive side, but honestly, it wasn't unreasonable. But the people who ran the place were so friendly. Like, the lady there, so I was the second PCT hiker they've ever had, and they are trying to get into the PCT hiker market, so they're working on that at the moment. But you know, she was just so friendly. She made me lunch. They have a restaurant there, but it wasn't open. They don't have enough justification. There's not enough people at the moment for them to open it. But she made me lunch. She ended up making me dinner last night. She gave me a free beer. She gave me free ice cream. She did my laundry for free. She was like a mum. She just took such good care of me. It was amazing. She was so friendly. And then I actually ended up going out to dinner with Bob and Rachel back at the Kennedy Meadows place. They have a restaurant there. And it was great just to chat to them, people from the Bay Area, and hear about their lives. And I mean, admittedly, a lot of the talk was about the trail because they're just people who aren't familiar with it, have so many questions. So that was fun, you know, talking to them about that, but also hearing about Bob's career and how he just got let go after 40 years with the same company, and how like, it's how our lives have differed. And you know, I was able to buy them dinner to say thank you for, you know, for picking me up, for picking the other hikers up, and for picking any future hikers up, and thanks for you know, driving me down to where they were staying, and it was great. And then as I worked my way through this slushy, slippery nightmare, so much for dry shoes. And then I also met yesterday afternoon, right before I went to dinner, a guy called Dave. Now Dave was in the room next to me, and he just came back from fishing, and got chatting to him, and ended up giving him a bear cam because I didn't need that anymore. As you can see, it's not strapped to the top of my pack anymore. So I just said, hey, he was looking at it, he was interested in it, he was asking questions, and I said, mate, you're gonna save me 25 bucks in postage if you take that off my hands. So I was like, I'm happy to give it to you. And so he took that, and then he offered me a ride this morning to get back up to the trail. And I said, hey, yeah, you know, definitely not gonna say no. So that was the last I saw of Dave last night. But I ended up having a hell of a night. Like just this itchy backside situation I've got going on has not gone away. There's a good chance I'm going to film myself falling over shortly because the snow is so slippery. But luckily there's no real exposure at the moment, so worst case is I'll just fall over. Anyway, I had a hell of a night. No sleep last night. The itchiness just was insane. None of the different creams I have did anything. I was up all hours of the night, taking showers, trying different creams, just tossing, turning. It's just horrible. And I remembered that Dave said he was headed to Bridgeport today. Bridgeport was the town the opposite direction from Kenny Meadows where I had gone. Jesus. Oh, that's wet and muddy. I'm gonna have to pause this till I get across this next section. I'll pick up the story. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. I had to pause that for longer than I expected. I probably paused that for about an hour ago. The snow just wouldn't let up. And by starting this video again, I've probably jinxed it and we'll probably hit more. But I'm hoping I've now descended far enough that the trail will be clear. Sorry if I look at the ground a lot, just don't want to face plant. You did miss a few falls, so I did fall over a few times and you didn't get to see them, so you miss out. Thing I saw about Dave. Yeah, so Dave was in the cabin next to me, awesome guy. A big sort of big burly hunter, a fisherman kind of guy. I think he said he was 50. And he was out there to get away because his only son, 18 years old, who graduated high school on Friday, congratulations for that, joined the Marines on Monday as an infantryman. So, I mean, I guess that's a congratulations too, but yeah, Dave wasn't. He was, you know, torn up over it a little bit. You know, obviously, to some extent he's proud, and, you know, for an 18-year-old, it's a lot of responsibility, and there is some respect, and, you know, he's making, in some sense, smart choices and not doing other dumb things. But as to Dave agreed, it's also a freaking dumb choice, joining the military. So, I mean, good on him, but you gotta hope he's all right. Hope he gets through his 4 years in one piece, and mentally and physically. So anyway, Dave and I chatted about that, and yeah, we teed up. He said he'll give me a lift up to back up to the pass in the morning because he was headed that way anyway. He was headed to, the name of the town escapes me right now, Bridgeport. He's heading to Bridgeport, or through Bridgeport. So during my horrible night of no sleep and just, yeah, if I wasn't 13 miles away from the trail, I would have gotten up in the middle of the night and hiked. I thought, well, hey, Dave's going to Bridgeport. There'll be a doctor in Bridgeport. I'll go to Bridgeport if it's all right with Dave. And I'll see a doctor, and then I'll hitch back to the trail in the afternoon, and hopefully everything will be sorted. So in the morning, I ran that by Dave. He was cool. So it was quite a long drive. It was probably over an hour drive. We hung out, we talked. He's an electrician as well, so we were talking, we're both electricians, talking construction, talking electrical, talking union stuff. He is into hunting and stuff, so he showed me a bunch of photos of giant mountain lions and things that he had shot because they were attacking people's livestock and stuff. And yeah, we just hit it off, and it was great chatting to him. And he was like, I sort of explained the situation. He was like, we're gonna get you a doctor, and he couldn't have been more enthusiastic to help. And unfortunately we got to Bridgeport, and well, Google said there was a medical center there. It had closed down several years ago, so there was no doctors at all in this small town. The nearest doctors was an hour away in either direction, south or north. I could tell Dave, I could tell he was willing to drive. If I had asked, he would have driven me anywhere, but I didn't want to do that to him. So in the end, at the general store, I found an over-the-counter cream of a different variety that I have not yet used. So I bought that, and we'll be endeavoring to do these next 80 miles. Hopefully that'll help. I joked that during the day it's not so bad, as long as I don't wear underwear and it's free and easy and well ventilated. It's not that bad. I guess because I'm distracted, I'm doing something else, I don't notice it as much. I'm aware of it, but it's not as bad. It's at night when there's I just can't sleep. It's just overwhelming. And you know, last night with no TV, no internet, no phone, no anything I could distract myself from it with, it was horrendous. I would have killed for just a TV I could put on in the background just to stare at blankly to distract myself. But in the end, turns out elevating my sore foot, my ankle, elevating that made that so uncomfortable that the uncomfortableness of that distracted me from the uncomfortableness of the itching, and I did manage to fall asleep and get a little bit of sleep. That was something else I did yesterday afternoon while I was at that place, Dardanelle or whatever it was called. I just lay around, my foot ice. The lady got me some ice for my foot. I lay around, my foot elevated, drinking beer and resting. And ankle feels pretty good today after all the ice and the elevation. And I was a little stiff this morning, but right now it feels 100%. Hopefully it continues to feel that way. So that was my adventure. Dave was awesome. So he then drove me. He pretended like, okay, so we got to town and I got the cream and I said, hey, let me shout you breakfast. For, you know, driving me around and doing everything. And we went and had breakfast, and in the end he bought me breakfast. He wouldn't let me pay. And then because he's heading on from there to Nevada and to see his parents, I guess, just to again spend some time and sort of process the whole, his only 18-year-old son joining the military straight out of high school. He then said, he made the excuse he wanted to go back the direction we came from to check out a stream he and his dad used to go fishing at. I think he was just making that up because I think he just knew I wouldn't accept a lift back to the pass. But in the end, he was adamant he was going that way anyway. So yeah, he gave me a lift all the way back to the pass. I'd be close to an hour back the other direction. So I had a few good hours chatting with this guy, and he's just such a nice guy. He couldn't believe what I was doing. He's funny that, you know, did the whole, do you have a gun? Do you carry a gun? And then I was like, no, but I carry a knife. And I showed him my little teeny tiny knife, and the look on his face just went pale. Trying to give me this big knife off his hip, and then and he's like, oh, that wouldn't take days. Like, I got a multi-tool. He's trying to tell me how a multi-tool is exactly what I need, and I was explaining I had one. I carried it for ages, never once needed it. He was funny. He was so caring. He couldn't do enough, and he was the nicest guy. And it was such a pleasure. Like, so last night with Bob and his daughter Rachel, and this morning with Dave, it was so good, so reinvigorating to be around such friendly people and just so helpful and inquisitive. And I feel really good being back out on trail today, despite the issues I have with the sore ankle, which is fine at the moment, and the fact that I'm terrified of going to sleep tonight, or trying to. Yeah, but despite that, it's so good to be back out here after having such a pleasant experience. And then to top it off, just as I was about to start making these videos as I finished that climb, I met another couple in their 70s at the top of that mountain, just out on a day hike, and they spent half an hour, 45 minutes telling me how much they love Australia and Australians, and telling me all about their time there, and just the friendliest of people. This little corner of the world has just, it's been amazing. Such friendly people. So yeah, I just want to have a bit of a chat about that, because it's just, I don't want to forget those people. I have Dave's number, I don't have the others, but it's just such a pleasant experience. And excuse me while I find my way across this.